Hi everyone, this is J.Medona, Assistant Professor of Computer Science and Engineering Department, Dr. MGR Educational Research Institute. This video lecture is about the topic Software Development Lifecycle Models in Software Engineering. So now let's get into the topic. In Software Development Lifecycle Models, we have two categories, Sequential Model and Iterative Model. In Sequential Model, we have Waterfall Model and V Model. In Iterative Model, we have Incremental Model, Spiral Model, Rapid Application Development Model. So in this video, we are going to see about Waterfall Model in Sequential Model and Incremental Model in Iterative Model. Waterfall Model. Waterfall model was the first process model to be introduced. It is also called as linear sequential lifecycle model. It is very simple to understand and use. In waterfall model, each phase must be completed before the next phase can begin, and so there is no overlapping in the phases. So we'll see about the waterfall design model. In this we have different components, that is requirement analysis, different phases, requirement analysis phase, system design phase, implementation phase, testing phase, deployment phase and maintenance phase. In requirements analysis and gathering phase, here all the possible requirements of the system to be developed are captured in this phase, and it is documented as a requirement specification document. In system design, from the requirement specification which we get from the first phase are studied in this phase, and the system design is prepared. This system design helps in specifying hardware and system requirements that helps in defining the overall system structure. The next phase is implementation phase. With inputs from the system design, the system is first developed in small programs called units, which are then integrated into the next phase. Each unit is developed and tested for its functionality, which is referred to as unit testing. Integration and testing. Here all the units developed in the implementation phase are integrated into a system after testing of each unit. Post integration, the entire system is tested for any faults or failures. Deployment of system. Once the functional non-functional testing is done, the product is deployed to the customer environment or released into the market. Maintenance. If there are some issues which come up in the client environment, to fix those issues, patches are released. Also, to enhance the product, some better versions are released. Maintenance is done to deliver these changes in the customer environment. All these phases are cascaded to each other, in which progress is seen as a flowing steadily downwards like a waterfall through the phases. The next phase is started only after the defined set of goals are achieved in the previous phase and it is signed off. So this waterfall named waterfall model actually matches with the concept. Applications of waterfall model. Each software developed is different and requires a suitable software development lifecycle approach to be followed and based on the internal and external factors. Some situations where the use of waterfall model is most appropriate are given below. Requirements are very well documented, clear and fixed. Product definition is stable. Technology is understood and it is not dynamic. There are no ambiguous requirements. Ample resources with the required expertise are available to support the product. The project is short. So all these areas where waterfall model is the best application method for software development lifecycle. The advantages and disadvantages of waterfall model is shown here. The advantages are the waterfall model is simple to implement. For implementation of small system, it is very useful. The disadvantages are it is difficult to follow the sequential flow in software development process. The requirement analysis is done initially and sometimes it is not possible to state all the requirements explicitly in the beginning. The customer can see the working model of the project only at the end. After reviewing the working model, the customer gets dissatisfied, then it causes serious problems. Linear nature of waterfall model induces blocking states because certain tasks may be dependent on some previous task. Hence, it is necessary to accomplish all the dependent tasks first. So, it may cause long waiting time. Then next comes the spiral model. It is a categorization under iterative model. The spiral model combines the idea of iterative development with the systematic controlled aspects of the waterfall model. The spiral model is a combination of iterative development process model and senior linear development model. The waterfall model with a high emphasis on risk analysis. It allows incremental releases of the product or incremental refinement through each iteration around the spiral. The design of the spiral model. It has 4 phases. The first phase is identification phase. In identification phase, we identify the requirements in the spiral model. Identification phase starts with the gathering of the business requirements in the baseline spiral. In the subsequent spirals, as the product matures, the identification of system requirements, subsystem requirements and unit requirements are all done in this phase. This phase also includes the understanding of the system requirements by continuous communication between the customer and the system analyst. At the end of the spiral, the product is deployed in the identified market. The second phase in the spiral model is design phase. The design phase starts with the conceptual design in the baseline spiral and involves architectural design, logical design of models, physical product design and the final design in the subsequent spirals. The next phase is the construction phase. In construction phase, it refers to the production of the actual software product at every spiral. Then in the subsequent spirals with the higher clarity of requirements and design, details of the working model of the software called build is produced with the version number. These builds are sent to the customer for feedback. The last phase in spiral model is evaluation and risk analysis. Risk analysis includes identifying, estimating and monitoring the technical feasibility and management risks such as schedule slippage or cost overrun. After testing the build at the end of the first iteration, the customer evaluates the software and provides feedback. These are the 4 phases and the activities which takes place in these 4 phases explained here. Applications of spiral model. Spiral model is widely used in the software industry as it is in the synchronization with the natural development process of any product. That is learning with maturity, which involves minimum risk for the customer as well as the development firms. So here the applications of spiral model includes when there is a budget constraint and a risk evaluation is important. For medium to high risk projects, long-term project commitment because of potential changes to economic priorities as the requirements change with time. Customer is not sure of their requirements, which is usually the case. Requirements are complex and need evaluation to get clarity. New product line which should be released in phases to get enough customer feedback. Significant changes are expected in the product during the development cycle. In all these concepts or all these problems, we use spiral model for the development of software development life cycle. Advantages and disadvantages of spiral model. The advantage of spiral life cycle model is that it allows elements of the product to be added in when they become more available or known. It assures that there is no conflict with the previous requirements and design. On the other side, it takes a very strict management to complete such products and there is a risk of running the spiral in an indefinite loop. So the discipline of change and the extent of taking change request is very important to develop and deploy the product successfully. The advantages of spiral model are changing requirements can be accommodated, allow extensive use of prototypes, requirements can be captured more accurately, users see the system early, development can be divided into smaller parts and the risky parts can be developed earlier, which helps in better risk management. Disadvantages are management is very complex, end of the project may not be known early, not suitable for small or low risk projects but can be expensive for small projects. Process is complex, spiral may go indefinitely, large number of intermediate stages requires excessive documentation. In this video lecture, we are seeing about the software development lifecycle models, the categories of software development lifecycle models. We have seen waterfall model in sequential and incremental model in iterative concept. We have seen about the design, application, advantages and disadvantages of both waterfall model and spiral model. Thank you.